In many cases, especially when it comes to gaming, things can be incredibly polarizing, whether it be towards consoles, PCs, business decisions, or most recently, Fallout 4. On one side, you have people who love the game for how it changed and made improvements to the franchise, even though in vintage Bethesda fashion, it isn't the most technically sound game out there, but you don't give a damn, cause it's one hell of a life-draining ride. On the other side, you have those who made the mistake of setting their hopes up too high and ended up paying the price of disappointment. With around 70 hours into the game, and having to stop or else I wouldn't get shit done, should give you a vague idea of which side I lean towards. But why has there been so much hype towards this game? Because Fallout 3 was the shit. So you're goddamn right expectations were high. And arguably, Fallout 4 is an improvement to 3, from its refined visuals all the way to its heavily customizable options. But along with that came the loss of other things which made Fallout 3 a great game to begin with. Compared to Fallout 3, 4 was streamlined quite a bit, making it more playable for casual audiences. Those filthy casuals at it again! In my gaming empire! You know the sorts. The type of people who buy an Xbox One because PS4 is for mega gaylords, yet they wouldn't know the difference, and it wouldn't make a difference, since they only use it as a Black Ops and FIFA playing machine anyway, and may buy the odd Assassin's Creed to play once for an hour or so, cause the man them said it's bare sick fam, cause like, you run around and you shank bare mans, so you decide to cop that. Mad team. After all, it seems mainstream audiences can't comprehend the Cambridge-level complexity of bare-bone RPG elements, so it has to be gun, shoot, gun, shoot, in order to retain attention for a lot of people. So compared to Fallout 3, 4 is lacking in the RPG side of the game, making it very clear that there are some things that Fallout 3 did better than Fallout 4. After you emerge from Vault 111 with your Pip-Boy on hand, you turn that sumbitch sideways, tune it up real nice and listen in to any frequencies of human life. After all, 210 years prior, the world had been nuked to shit. The Earth's crust has the density of a Cheerio, and the chances of others surviving, let alone hosting their own goddamn radio show, are slim to none. But then again, I'm sure the same thing was said for a nuclear apocalypse happening, but look where we are now! But you tune up your Pip-Boy, and to your surprise, there is a frequency. Several frequencies, actually. Knowing all your loved ones are dead, you feel the only reasonable option is to get down and jive to some classical jams. But then you notice a station that goes by the name of Diamond City Radio. And many tasty jams were had, being informed of the tale of the Wanderer and Butcher Pete, who's chopping up all the women's meat. Then, you're welcome to the host. The schoolboy having to give a presentation on fiscal and monetary policies in the business world that he has no idea about and has no desire to be a part of, host, who will seemingly be the socially awkward voice of your wasteland adventure. However, you get to a certain Diamond City, start up a quest, let the guy knock someone out in a staged fight to give him some confidence, and emerges as the smooth-talking radio presenter of Diamond City Radio, Travis Lonely Miles. After that quest really early into this wasteland adventure, he's a solid, smooth radio show host. So I do like me some Travis Lonely Miles. Both the confident version and the socially impaired actually, but by no means, and by no measure, does he compare to the charisma of the voice of the Capital Wastelands, 3Dog of Galaxy News Radio, bringing you the truth, no matter how bad it hurts. If radio hosts were as charismatic as 3Dog, maybe radio wouldn't slowly be taken over with podcasts and digital music like it seemingly is currently. So if you're gonna compare Fallout 3 to 4, even though it's a minor detail, Fallout 3 had a more limited radio setlist, but has the clear victor with its radio hosts. Here's another thing that was changed for what some thought the better, and many thought was left better in the previous games. That being the skill system. Although I'm a fan of Fallout 4's streamlined skill tree, having individual points felt a lot better in my opinion, especially for an RPG. That slight bit of added depth made leveling up feel a lot more like an investment instead of having to build them into your special build. Especially since no level cap along with the ability to boost special points means you can get every skill so if you play long enough, you're gonna be Goku in power armor. Another example of how 4 is far more tailored to a casual audience by leaving out the point system. Well, not so much leaving it out, but setting the points for you and having them built into your special and leaving just the perk option cut down to the skill tree. Now, when it comes to playing games, I prefer to actually focus on playing the game instead of recreating characters from my Kingdom Hearts x Jesus Christ fanfiction, so I'm still gonna sleep well at night without having to think about how Fallout 4 made it that much more difficult for me to do that. The whole RPG thing of giving your character a complete role-playing personality and traits is an element I don't have the time to put in, considering I've played 70 hours on just one character, let alone playing as Pacifisticuffs. Melee-only wasteland pugilist, specialising in strength and charisma, using their Cube Crusher fists as their only weapon while their high charisma allows them to talk their way out of any violent situation. So, less RPG traits doesn't bother me that much. But this right here is one aspect of Fallout as an RPG which did bother me and was completely left better off in 3, that being the dialogue. Character interaction is still good, voice acting feels more varied, but the dialogue options feel a hell of a lot more limited with just 4 options. But that's not really where my problem lies, since that's not entirely a bad thing. Streamlining dialogue to 4 options instead of a giant block of selectable text is fine by me. What bothers me is that charisma is the only influential factor in dialogue. What happened to working your way around social situations with all of your special build? If someone needs to be threatened, it's gonna be because I have high strengths and super mutant biceps. If Liberty Prime needs to be built and restored, it's gonna happen because I'm the intellectual savior of the wasteland. If someone's a lying-ass motherfucker, I'm gonna know because I'm a perceptive little boy. But with Fallout 4, you could have pool noodle arms and a mind to match, and those noodle arms shouldn't keep you afloat in social situations, but since you've been packing in the beer and day trippers, man, synth, and mutants all around will swoon at your very voice. This one is weird to explain because it's something that never really had that much of an influence to begin with, yet it's just one of those features that made it feel like a Fallout game, even in pre-Bethesda games. A little paranoia, known as karma. With the karma system being non-existent in Fallout 4, it's a lot harder for you edgy teenagers to play as your favourite Shadow the Hedgehog OCs and be evil. That being said, in terms of the main story, it's actually a lot easier to be evil in Shadow the Hedgehog than Fallout 4. With no karma, there's no real drawback to doing bad things, especially if you're hidden. And with Bethesda AI, you won't have to pull off any bank heist-like maneuvers. Even Skyrim had no karma system, but the gods would be on your ass if they think you're up to no good. Criminal scum. Even knowing it doesn't do much beside influence what companions you can have follow you, getting up to some evil mischief and seeing that karma icon show up just gives you a sense of guilt. Not only do you know you've abused your free will, the game knows. The world knows. It knows. It gives you that sense of dread that something's gonna come around that no amount of VATS, stim packs, and fucking Gwinnett Ale will save you from. But nothing probably comes out of it. Until you start running into death claws. I don't mind talking protagonists in games, but as similar to the skill tree, it takes the already limited RPG element of Bethesda Fallout games away. Along with the karma system, varied skill builds and dialogue options, the characters you build will be far different each time you play, compared to Fallout 4. This is more of a downgrade if you are the type to play as pacifist, bare-knuckle, pugilist characters and have the time to do stuff like that, and the role-playing side is essential for you. Like I said, it's not that important for me, I just play however I feel like. So why do I think it's a lot more of a downgrade? Well, a voice protagonist makes everything seem way too predetermined. It explains why the main story was linear, why the dialogue was more linear, and aside from a few major decisions, everything you decided to do felt like the outcome would be the same. Thankfully, it only feels this way with the main storyline. Side quests don't feel as linear. Side quests seem to give you a lot more freedom. Then all of this goes back to the problem of dialogue not being as detailed, and the problem many had of no karma. Nothing you choose is necessarily evil. Each faction have their own reasons for their ideologies, so there's really no right or wrong in what you do. I can't speak for everyone, but a voice protagonist limiting the ability to roleplay isn't enough to get me to unleash the heavy vocabulary in a letter of complaint straight to Bethesda, but a voice protagonist limiting the game overall does bother me a little. The last word you want to associate a game of freedom with is linear. So essentially, Fallout 3 is a better game as an RPG. Overall, however, you could argue for either side. So from here on out, Shadow appears in many future games, spouting off memorable lines such as, "Who are you, and how do you know my name? I am the ultimate life form. I think, don't quote me on that. Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald? Like seriously, I could have sworn I put it around here somewhere."